chosen item. A confident smirk appeared on his face as he gave the command. Instantly, all the wild blue lightning in the air rushed into his right hand as he claimed the storm's power for himself. The next day on the storm-damaged peak of Mount Yuhuang, the immediate danger was gone. Below a cliff, Su Qingying and an army officer named Major Han Li stood over numerous figures in body bags. Su Qingying reported that the contamination zone's energy had strangely dropped from its most dangerous level to a mild level in just 3 hours, though some electricity was still in the air. Major Han Li listened and immediately figured out what had happened. Someone had been there. It was a seeker, a person who actively looks for these dangerous events. Su Qingying was shocked, wondering if another seeker was involved and if they could have survived. She knelt and looked for clues but couldn't sense anything, guessing that the heavy rain had washed away any evidence. She concluded that the seeker must have left the mountain safely around 8 p.m. the night before. Major Han Li agreed with her timeline. The strange event began around 6 p.m., and the army sealed the mountain at 7 p.m., so the seeker must have climbed the mountain before it was closed. He noted that their instruments predicted the danger would reach grade S, but after 8 p.m., the energy suddenly dropped. Standing where the lightning had been strongest, the major added his own theory. He believed the seeker not only survived the lightning, but probably had a thunder-related power, turning the disaster into a great opportunity. He concluded this person was the direct cause of the sudden change. The major then shared his biggest worry. People like this were the most dangerous because they didn't know whose side they were on. Su Qingying agreed, adding that if such a powerful person was a threat, the disaster they could cause would be huge. They had to be found quickly. Miles away, sitting on his couch and unaware of the military operation now focused on him, Feng Yi let out a sudden, loud sneeze. Back on the mountain, Major Han Li made his decision. He gave a firm order to his troops. Find this person immediately, at any cost. As his command was given, he assigned the mysterious target his temporary codename, the Tyrant. The investigation on Yuhuang Mountain started right away. The army hoped the Spiritual Practitioners Association could recruit the mysterious person codenamed Tyrant soon. In the meantime, they would keep all information about the event secret and start their own investigation. On the rainy peak, the association leader told Major Han Li that they already had a high-level pioneer trying to make contact. He then turned to Su Qingying and ordered her to give her report to the major. Su Qingying was caught off guard by the order and gasped in panic. Forced to think fast, she began her half-true report. She connected the current incident to the pioneer who had recently cleared the pollution zone at a local university. Inside, she was panicking, terrified she would say something wrong and reveal her deal with Feng Yi. She explained that she had been trying to contact him, but he was hard to find. She mentioned finding the body of a mutated rabbit he had killed and correctly identified his Yang Flame attribute from the evidence. She finished by promising to do her best to get close to him and find out how he had cleared the university's gate. She silently prayed for help, knowing that mixing truth with lies was her only way to make her story sound real. Major Han Li listened closely, thinking about what a pioneer with a Yang Flame attribute meant. He seemed happy with her report and thanked her for her hard work, calling her a talented young pioneer. Su Qingying gave a sharp salute and replied that it was her duty. With the meeting over, Major Han Li mentioned they would release fake news about natural disasters to hide the event from the public. He also said he disagreed with posting spiritual energy information online where bad people could use it. As the officials talked, Su Qingying quietly sighed, relieved that the tough questioning was finally over. Back at his home, Feng Yi used his golden sun breathing technique to easily dry his white hoodie, making it glow with a warm light before holding it up, perfectly clean and dry. After putting it on, he checked the changes in his body. Even after adding the powerful thunder attribute, he could still feel a clear difference. He looked down at his right hand, which now sparked with blue lightning. It had completely changed, becoming the strongest part of his body and getting a huge boost. As he flexed his fingers, making small balls of lightning appear, he could feel that he was close to another upgrade. What surprised him most was how the once wild thunder attribute had become as calm as a kitten after being added to his body, letting him control it freely. He compared this to the terrible pain he felt when he first unlocked the Yang attribute, and wondered if the energies got weaker during the process. Remembering the system told him this new power dealt double damage to strange and evil creatures. He was eager to test it. His thoughts were broken by a sudden alert from his phone on a nearby table. He picked it up, wondering what was happening now. He had set up special news alerts after the last incident, knowing that in these crazy times, the government would issue warnings to protect people. For a pioneer like him, however, these warnings were more than just notices of danger. In every crisis, there was a chance to grow stronger, even if it meant risking his life. As Fang Yi thought about what to do next, he looked at the major news alert on his phone. The report said a huge explosion had just happened inside a chemical plant, causing a lot of pollution in the city. The official story said no one was hurt and told people to stay calm, but Fang Yi was suspicious of an event this big. He checked online forums, where people who saw it happen gave a much scarier story. People who lived nearby described a super creepy feeling they couldn't explain. One person asked if it was a cold, evil aura, and another quickly agreed. While many were doubtful, the overall feeling was one of dread and fear. The words cold and evil aura felt familiar to Fang Yi. Suddenly, a terrifying memory from his past life came back. A bloody hand and a horrible monster. He remembered hiding in fear from a giant, red, demonic beast as it destroyed everything around it. The creature, a gross, multi-eyed rat-like monster, was a threat he knew too well. Back in the present, he looked serious. He remembered the nature of these creatures. They were plants or animals that changed in a strange way after becoming self-aware, their power going wild and giving them terrifying hunting and killing abilities. They loved to appear in the dark of night. Realizing this new threat was 100 times more dangerous than the mutated rabbit he had fought before, Fang Yi knew he had to do something. Clenching his fist, which sparked with his new blue lightning, he decided he would go out that night to stop these creatures from surviving and getting stronger. Standing up, he was surrounded by blue electrical energy. It was time, he decided, to test his new 200% critical hit ability in a real fight. On a dark and stormy night, rain fell on the empty city streets. As a traffic light changed, a blur of motion sped across the wet road, a squad of cloaked figures moving with amazing speed. These were the members of the Destroyer Squad, and they were hunting. One member reported to their headquarters that they were tracking Anomaly File Number 7, codenamed Candle Knight, but had lost the target. The creature's known ability was to blend into the darkness, making it very hard to follow. The squad member added new, scary details to the file. The anomaly made a faint sizzling sound when it was close and liked to eat humans. As lightning lit up the sky, the squad landed on a rooftop to look over the city. Their leader, a determined man with light hair and a scar on his face, knew the stormy weather was perfect for the creature's hunt. He said with grim certainty that they could not let that happen. Miles away, in a busy command center, an operator got the updated information. He confirmed the new data for File 7. Candle Knight had been submitted. The situation was serious. An extermination request was filed as a high priority, with a goal to solve it in 12 hours. The order came back from headquarters. The Destroyer Squad was to keep chasing the target, but their own safety was most important. The team immediately started the chase again, leaping from building to building through the rainy city. The squad leader paused, looking at a glowing holographic map of the city full of red markers showing active anomalies. He knew that a 12-hour response time wasn't fast, but it was the best headquarters could do. The country was large, and with anomalies appearing everywhere, even their advanced resources were stretched thin. Just as the Destroyer Squad got close to their target's last known location, a warning came from their headquarters. The operator told them that the area they were entering was currently occupied by Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association agents. A photo of Su Qingying appeared on the screen as the operator explained that her team was watching pioneers there and could be asked to help. The Destroyer Squad's leader acknowledged the message and asked headquarters to have her come help, saying he had heard of her good work. Elsewhere, Su Qingying was surprised to learn she had become so famous. The Destroyer Squad waited grimly in the rain. Soon, Su Qingying and her own cloaked team arrived, taking a spot on a higher rooftop. With a hand on her hip, she looked down at the squad below and casually asked if they were the ones calling her for overtime. The Destroyer Squad's leader was not happy with her casual tone. He sternly told her that the Candle Knight anomaly eats people and that this was much more serious than a simple overtime request. One of Su Qingying's team members shot back, asking if that was the right way to ask for help. Su Qingying then turned to leave, saying that the Destroyer Squad seemed so good, they probably didn't need help after all. She announced that her team, the Ying Squad, would be leaving. As they started to go, her team members muttered among themselves, one worrying about their boss's savage attitude and another defending her, saying their own missions were just as dangerous. The leader of the Destroyer Squad immediately panicked and called for her to wait. He apologized for his harsh tone and begged for her help. He explained just how dangerous Candle Knight was, and that without her famous tracking skills, they would be at a great disadvantage. He stressed that if his team failed, the people of the city would be the ones to suffer, as the monster would kill them all. After agreeing to work together, the two teams stood on a rainy rooftop, ready to hunt. Su Qingying concentrated, and a glowing blue ball of energy appeared in her hand. She announced she had found the creature. The orb's energy expanded, showing the monster's location. Hidden in the dark, wet ruins of a chemical plant, the monstrous, multi-eyed rat-like creature called Candle Knight was eating something. Its file noted that it liked darkness, dampness, and eating people. With the target found, Su Qingying gave the command for the joint operation to start. The creature's senses were sharp, and it instantly looked up, aware of their presence. It jumped away, just as an attack hit the ground where it had been. A member of the destroyer squad said the target had spotted them and ordered the team to form up. The squad members moved with incredible speed, their cloaks blurring as they chased it. They surrounded the creature from all sides, and with their prey trapped, they shouted together, ready to attack. One of the destroyer squad members lunged forward, shouting the order to attack. He hit the creature hard, sending it crashing into a pile of rubble. But instead of being weaker, the monster's body began to change, its back erupting with red sores and black spikes. With a furious shriek, the enraged Candle Knight fought back, creating a vortex of dark energy. Su Qingying desperately shouted for the teams to watch out for the sound wave and dodge. Her warning was a moment too late. A powerful sonic blast erupted from the creature, sending the squad members flying back. The destroyer squad's leader was thrown from the rooftop, crashing onto the street below. One of his team members rushed to his side. The leader pushed himself up, bruised but alive. He admitted that if he hadn't moved back at the last second, his bones would have been broken. He knew they were in grave danger. If the creature stayed in the city any longer, it would cause a huge disaster. The battle took another turn as Candle Knight continued to change. It grew large, bat-like wings and let out a roar, its throat glowing with green energy. It then spewed a corrosive, dark substance that filled the air with toxic green smoke. The creature aimed this blast at the ground, trying to melt the street to burrow underground and escape. One of Su Qingying's team members warned her that the monster had a corrosive dark power and that anything it touched would be destroyed. She explained that their team didn't have a power strong enough to fight it. Su Qingying, however, stayed calm. She ordered her team to stay alert and not to mess up the destroyer squad's formation, reminding them their main job was to gather information and help with strategy. Meanwhile, a destroyer squad member with a dagger prepared to strike the escaping creature. Suddenly, a pair of menacing red eyes glowed from the darkness. The winged Candle Knight lunged forward, narrowly dodging an attack from a leaping squad member. Enraged, the destroyer squad leader yelled at his team not to let the monster escape. The winged creature flew through the city streets, chased by the cloaked members of the Ying squad. From a high rooftop, Su Qingying and two of her team members watched. Suddenly, she sensed a sharp increase in spiritual energy from the creature's direction. Realizing something important was about to happen, she ordered her team to stay outside while she followed it in by herself. The chase led them to a large, dark, abandoned factory. Inside, Su Qingying said she would scan the area's spiritual energy. The destroyer squad's leader noticed the advanced watch on her wrist. She confirmed it was a new device from the association, explaining that the watch showed the energy level a squad could safely handle was 50. Candle Knight's reading had been just 48. Suddenly, the device on her wrist began to flash wildly, the reading shooting past 80. Su Qingying shouted that the energy levels were going crazy. At that moment, a massive, shadowy form with glowing green eyes appeared in the rafters above. They had been led into a trap. Su Qingying realized with horror that there was more than one creature in the factory. The shadowy, monstrous face of a new creature loomed behind them. The destroyer squad's leader panicked, yelling that they needed to retreat immediately. Taking charge, Su Qingying suggested a tactical retreat toward the main door to force the hidden enemy to show itself. She fired a blast of energy to clear a path, shouting for her team to follow. But before they could escape, she cried out in pain and collapsed, her senses overwhelmed by an invisible poison gas. Su Qingying suddenly found herself alone in the vast green darkness of the factory. She called out to her team, but no one answered. She knew they were nearby, but the poison had made them unable to sense her. Putting the pieces together, she realized the full trap. Candle Knight had led them to this factory, which was the territory of a much more powerful creature, a giant serpent she had only faintly sensed earlier. As if summoned by her thoughts, the huge, armored head of a shadowy serpent with glowing green eyes loomed over her. She now understood that unlike Candle Knight's simple dark power, this creature's black mist was a strong poison, and they had been breathing it in since they arrived. The gas worked silently, paralyzing its victims while draining their spiritual energy. Fighting back would only use up their power faster, leading to certain death. She could feel her own spiritual energy was almost gone, and without it, she knew she would soon be another victim. As she collapsed to the floor, her strength gone, she despaired at the terrifying intelligence of a creature that was just playing with them. She closed her eyes, wondering if this was the end. Lying defeated on the factory floor, Su Qingying saw a single ray of light cut through the green darkness above. A flicker of hope appeared in her eyes. Suddenly, the factory ceiling exploded inward, and a blinding light filled the room. Her eyes widened as a figure came down from the blast. It was Fang Yi. He landed gracefully in the rubble, his hooded figure standing out against the glowing hole in the ceiling. He stood before the giant serpent, immediately identifying it as a dark attribute creature. Without warning, the serpent lunged, its massive fangs aimed at him. At the same time, the Candle Knight monster burst from the shadows, attacking from behind. Fang Yi dodged the serpent's attack and came face to face with the growling rat-like beast. As the two creatures closed in, he finally understood the full trap he had walked into. In a shocking move, Fang Yi let the Candle Knight monster bite his shoulder. As blood splattered, he noted their surprisingly smart tactics, one creature for luring prey, the other for killing them. He taunted the beast latched onto him, asking if it enjoyed biting people so much. In response, he unleashed his new power. Bright blue lightning erupted from his body as he challenged the monster to taste his thunder property. At the same time, he fired a massive beam of golden solar energy from his free hand, which hit the lunging serpent head-on. Now, covered in crackling electricity and free from the stunned rat creature, Fang Yi turned his full attention to the serpent, unleashing a flood of golden flames as he challenged it to see how well it could handle fire.